Hello everyone, my name is Ryan from RECKO Reptiles, and today I'm doing a video talking about Cryptosporidium and just leopard gecko care, just kind of an overall guide of dealing with Cryptosporidium. It's not a fun word that's used in the reptile community. It's not a fun word that's used pretty much in any health or clinical, anything to do with animal welfare. You don't like hearing that word. I have some notes right here. I'll be kind of bouncing off back and forth. Got my helper here, his name is Scraggy. And then I've got two books. I'll talk about those closer to the end of the video. That's more of an informal and educational bit. And he's just probably one of the best handling geckos that I have. He's just gonna chill out, really photogenic. So let's just hope that he cooperates in this video. So crypto, also it's not the currency, Cryptosporidium, cryptos for short. It's a microscopic parasite that infects animals, humans, and reptiles in different ways. It's not really fun to deal with at all. You might have heard of like parvo and similar things like that in dogs and cats. It's a type of Cryptosporidium, but it's within reptiles it's quite different. For animals in general, it usually affects them with weight loss, organs, and everything internal usually shuts down. Appetite is pretty much gone. They don't want to eat, they don't want to drink, which leads to them being dehydrated. They can't absorb any nutrients because they're not wanting to eat also. And because of that, they usually die. It's one of the, if you're a breeder, it's known as the collection killer. But if you're a hobbyist or just herp culture, it's gonna kill your collection unless you know how to look out for it, how to deal with it. So yeah. So over here, these are some symptoms that I'll just kind of go over. Symptoms are vomiting, diarrhea, and organ disease. The animal's shutting down, they're acting sluggish. For reptiles, it varies with how they kind of act. It's really similar with how they act in all reptiles, like snakes, tortoises, turtles, lizards, and all that. They all act pretty similar when they get Cryptosporidium. Really sluggish, not wanting to eat, not very, even for species that are pretty sluggish and aren't active, you can tell when they have Cryptosporidium. So vomiting, for one, that's one that we'll kind of hit the base off with, especially lizards. Lizards don't usually vomit. Some animals are able to regurgitate their food, like monitor lizards are one of the few that can regurgitate food. But Cryptosporidium, when they're regurgitating their food, let's just say they already ate. Like this guy, leopard geckos, they already ate their mealworms and everything. They vomit all that out, and it's not not broken down, it's just a chunk wrapped up in mealworms. That's a sign your animal has Cryptosporidium. Leopard geckos in general shouldn't be throwing up. It can be crypto or some other health issues. Usually it is Cryptosporidium. Crypto is pretty common. It comes in different strands. Some animals can carry it and just be the carriers, not have any signs of it, while others can have it and it can be triggered by stress or new environments. Or it's just an awful strand of Cryptosporidium and it's just extremely awful to watch. Your animal just goes on this downhill and declines pretty fast. Another thing is the diarrhea. I think you know what the animal's fecals look like, and it's not, if it smells really bad, it already smells bad, but if it's pretty nasty and looks like diarrhea, you should probably get your animal checked out. And then organ disease, that's harder to look for, but if the animal's like slimming down, usually that's dehydrated and everything like that. You know, they're not able to catch on to anything that they're eating. They're not absorbing anything. But be sure to look out to see if there's anything else that they're not. You can, with leopard geckos and like some other lizards, you're able to kind of flip them upside down and kind of, they got that transparent stomach. You can do that. But for snakes, regurgitating food is another thing. So, you know, snakes do regurgitate food, but it's not really a good thing because they're trying to swallow their food and everything. Sometimes they'll puke it out if it's too big or something like that. But if it's not, and they're like, the snake's, you know, dehydrated looking and not keeping anything down, it's best to get them checked. With Cryptosporidium, though, there are no cures publicly. There's people that have dealt with it. There's very few that speak about it publicly that have dealt with it. And those who do talk about it all recommend types of quarantine, how to keep your animals in general. Like when you get a new animal, quarantine them, and it's just protocol on how to keep your station clean, how to keep yourself clean, sanitizing, everything like that, the whole 9 yards. Making sure you're doing what you're supposed to as a pet owner and breeder. So yeah, with snakes though, when they get crypto, pardon me, it's the weather out. It's too cold and I'm got that dry cough. I don't have crypto. But snakes, for an example, it reduces the acid secretion from the snake. So all the saliva, usually that's in their mouth, their stomach acid, things that they're able to break down, they usually end up building a crap ton of mucus, which clogs them up. So they're not even able to breathe or swallow, and they just get dehydrated. He's looking like he wanted to bite me for a second. They don't bite too hard, but he's feeling it today. He's feeling spunky. It's because I'm talking about crypto. He doesn't want to hear me talk about it. But it clogs the snake up. And unfortunately, because of the snake's diet and everything, pardon me, because of the snake's diet and everything, there's not a lot that can be done. Usually ethical and safe euthanasia is what's recommended. But then there's tortoises and turtles. Theirs are kind of similar to lizards. It's that, I mean, for all of them, it targets the organs when it's severe and everything like that. It's going to target what, you know, the functioning of the animal. But it really, for tortoises and turtles, there's not a lot of information out there that talks about Cryptosporidium, sadly. But from the research that is out there, it sounds a lot like lizards and how it affects them. For lizards, though, there are treatments. Your vet can give you various medicines to help, like diarrhea and everything. There's nida oxide, which is something that humans use for Cryptosporidium in themselves. It's a thing that can help with like diarrhea in their immune system and helps boost it. There's no cure, you know, full-on cure though for crypto that is publicly out and is spoken about. But ways to kind of, like, how does it even happen? You know, how do you get crypto? It could be just from a contaminated animal, contaminated food, water, and just someone not washing their hands before and after touching the animal. That's one thing. Some animals can carry salmonella, some can't. But it's always best to keep your animals and your station sanitized, so you know your animal's not gonna get sick, and so you're not, you know, transmitting it to any other animal that could get sick. Humans could get sick in different cases, but for reptiles, there's not a lot of sicknesses that you can get from messing with reptiles. But yeah, that's another big thing with like the touching animal to animal. Reptile expos are a cesspool when it comes to Cryptosporidium. That's why people usually have hand sanitizer and advise you to wash your hands, because they don't want their animals getting sick. They don't want their collection dying. Everything of that in that case. But it all just kind of leads down to the general care for it. There are videos out there with people talking about like leopard geckos vomiting. That's not a good thing. Especially when they're suggesting to like make like a slurry and everything like that. You should go to a vet and make sure you can they can at least kind of help you out. There are vets though that are uneducated about Cryptosporidium. It's not because it's not really spoken about highly, and like I guess the amount of people that get it and everything like that. Some people, like vets and everything like that, don't know much about it. So it is a good thing though, to be educated on, and to educate yourself on what Cryptosporidium is. There's tests out there that you can get, but a lot of them nowadays are like to test your animals for crypto. It's usually a fecal test or a swab in the mouth, but a lot of the times now they're not consistent with like to see if your animal actually has crypto. So it's like a hit or miss. UCLA had a really good program with Cryptosporidium tests with their lab, but they don't do it anymore. As far as what I'm aware of, they don't do it anymore. So it's hard to find genuine like tests that you can get your animals tested to see if they have it or not. But it's just try to keep your animals and station clean. They're set up clean, you know, do your due diligence as a breeder, keeper, owner, someone who's interested in potentially getting a reptile, to make sure you know what you're doing before getting one, and make sure your animal is clean, and the whole 9 yards of cleanliness is what's going to help you. But how I mentioned at the very end of the video, mentioning those books over here, I'm going to be doing more videos. I haven't done videos in a while. I did the podcast for a while, but I'm busy with school. I'm an oncologist major, so cancer research. So I'll be doing videos on lemon frost. So I think that'd be fun to kind of talk about. But these books over here are just recommendations if you're interested in keeping leopard geckos, breeding them eventually. So yeah, there's the first one that we have right here on top. I would say it's an okay book. It's the Leopard Gecko Morphs by Ron Tremper. If you don't know who Ron Tremper is, he's the guy that produced the Tremper albinos. One of the most known morphs, probably the most known albino strain. There's 3 different strains of albino in geckos, leopard geckos, but the Tremper albino's pretty well known. This book goes over various morphs though. There are some incorrect parts though in the book. I do warn about that. It's just slight things. It's some genetic information in there is incorrect, along with just like labeled animals, like the morph and everything on there. There's a couple accidental areas that were I forget what page exactly, but there's one where it's like an emerine and it's showing a max snow. But some of the names in there are accidentally put on the wrong picture of geckos, the one right next to it. But there are some incorrect. There is some incorrect information on genetics and everything, like the supergiants and some other stuff in there. But yeah, I do recommend, if you are getting geckos though, to at least pick up the book. Make yourself familiar with all the base morphs. It's just kind of like a picture book more so. It talks about the Tremper albino beginning and some other genetic traits that were produced. Really focuses on what Ron did as a breeder. But yeah, it's not a bad read. I do recommend getting it just to kind of have it in your collection. But there are some parts in the book that aren't accurate and are not true. The number 1 book that I would recommend, it's a various over a whole bunch of different geckos, but it's the Gecko Fauna. This is by far my favorite reptile book. It goes over eyelid geckos and all these different types of geckos in here. It's one of the only books that you're going to find anything on like Eublepharis angermanyu, which is a It's its own species and everything like that, but it's in the genus of Eublepharis, so it's related to leopard geckos, but different. They're a lot bigger, and they can't breed with leopard geckos. I mean, they can, but usually they're infertile. The offspring are infertile. It's like the donkey, and they're like the mule or whatever. But it is a really good book. Probably one of the best reptile books out there, talking about geckos specifically. So I highly recommend picking up this book. I believe it's like $10 on Amazon, while the leopard gecko morphs, I believe, is $30 on Ron Trimper's website. I can't remember I got this book right when it came out, so it's been a while. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. Hopefully it was informal somewhat. It's a dumbed down version of it. I can talk more about, you know, actual terms and everything like that in a more scientific matter, if that's how you would want to watch videos like that. But I think my helper here, Scraggy, did a decent job. He's active, but he didn't bite me, and he pretty much stayed calm for most of the video. But I plan on doing more content in the future, for sure. It's been a while since I've done YouTube. I don't know how the algorithm works anymore at all. I'd say lack of algorithm now is probably what I'd probably assume. But yeah, I hope you enjoy watching this video, and stay tuned for some future videos. So you guys have a great day. Thank you for watching, and peace out.